Alright guys, we got a little bit of warm weather. It's probably around 50 degrees here. Figured I'd go for a little ride. Not gonna venture too far away from home since it's gonna drop pretty quickly when the sun starts setting. Figured I'd hit up a few of these little roads around through here. I do have some big plans for spring and summer this year. There's a few national parks I plan to go riding through, and Daniel Boone National Forest has a lot of gravel fire roads that I plan on riding on pretty soon. I think my first big one will be Red River Gorge here in Kentucky. Beautiful place, really cool views. I think y'all will enjoy that one, so I definitely plan on doing that. Probably one of the first videos I make on a more extended trip. For now, I'm just riding around some local roads. Also, I love making the motorcycle videos, but you know, I am kind of an outdoor enthusiast. I love guns, fishing, hunting. If y'all think you'd be interested in seeing any hunting, fishing, or gun videos, maybe even gun discussions, just drop a comment and let me know, because I don't want to be just limited to the motorcycle stuff. So yeah, please leave a comment, let me know any suggestions that you would also like on my channel. I'll definitely divide them into, you know, motorcycle videos, maybe gun videos. I do play PlayStation 5. Pretty well-rounded gamer. I'll play a little bit of every genre, so also I might get into that a little bit too. You know, kind of show you a little bit of my life and things like that. The last video I posted, this is going to be the same spot, and I typically ride these roads because it's a little mix of, you know, small road, highway, and some gravel. But it's nice. There's very little traffic. I hardly ever meet vehicles, so it's nice. I hope this is recording. This right here is the Cumberland Parkway. Which is fun to ride on. Pretty open. Some of the cooler parts of this video are going to be near when I get down to the creek area. So if you watch long enough, you'll see some gravel. Try to get down there pretty quick. As far as how I'm liking the 2022 Honda CB500X, it's a really awesome bike. Give me just a minute. Some kids walking down the road. But as far as bikes, you know, I've rode quite a few bikes. I went from a 2017 CRF 250L to this bike. Just wanted something a little bit bigger, something that handles a little bit better on the road. But I did sacrifice some of the off-road capabilities that the 250L did have. But as far as the smoothness on the road and all that, this bike is really great. It's not a very heavy bike. It's in the 400-pound range, somewhere in there. I think the 250L weighed somewhere around 300, 320 maybe. But so, you know, a little bit heavier, but the way it sits, the seat height, your body position on the bike is awesome. You're not leaned over like a street bike, and you're not leaned back like a cruiser. It's like right in the middle, so you have really good control. I don't know, with this bike, you can rev it pretty high, but I always shift somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs. That's just how I do. I feel like it's might be easier on the transmission and everything. Kind of baby it a little bit. I'm not too hard on it. It's only had its first initial oil change. Haven't changed it again. I'm gonna have to check. I think it's around 6,000, but I'll probably change it around 3,000, 4,000, maybe even sooner. No, it's inexpensive. It's good for the bike to have fresh oil, but I don't want to overkill. As far as upgrades, I have the T-Rex Racing crash bars and skid plate picked out. That's what I'm going to be putting on it. I've kind of splurged on firearms lately, so it kind of sent me back on getting those on. But the riding I do now is mostly road and gravel, so I don't necessarily need the crash bars or skid plate right now. But definitely within the next few months I will have them on the bike. They'll add a little bit of weight, but nothing crazy. This is a sleek looking bike. The crash bars do add a little bit of bulk, and that T-Rex Racing skid plate wraps around the motor, so it offers a lot of protection, but it just looks a little bit bulky, so it takes away from the sleekness of the bike, but it'll look awesome on here. My plans are still to go with the Midas. It's either EO7 or MO7s. And sometime this year I'll probably put them on. I'm trying to get a little bit of life out of the tires that came on the bike. I haven't been able to ride in a few weeks, and this is amazing getting out here. Most people won't wave at somebody on a motorcycle unless they're also on a motorcycle. realized that. Not sure the reasoning. Gosh, it's a beautiful day to be riding. When I get down here to this first creek, I'll give you a little story. I don't know the exact details of this story, just like a general sense of what took place. Pretty tragic. Buzzard up there. I've recently got into coyote hunting. They're a pretty big problem in my area. They've been getting people's pets and young horses, young cows. You know, I even lost a dog, a little wiener dog named Bruno, 4 years ago. A coyote killed him in my backyard. Really sweet little dog. Still haven't got my vengeance. Now this house right here, it looks abandoned, but somebody actually lives in there. When it's really cold, there's smoke that comes out of the chimney. It's the really old farmhouse, probably built in the 20s or 30s, I would assume. This is the creek I'm talking about. It's a beautiful creek bottom. Goes way up through there. With some of the routes I ride, you'll cross this creek 3 or 4 times just on those roads. So with this creek, this bridge, before this bridge was built, the road went down and through the creek. But a young couple, man and woman, was down here, you know, kind of playing in the creek in the summer, in the water, and a guy came through on a 4-wheeler and splashed them. And they either gave him the middle finger or cussed at him a little bit. So he comes back, shoots the guy and kills him, and then stabs the woman to death. And, you know, just senselessly over them having a word with him for splashing them. But this bridge was built afterwards, and it is a memorial bridge to their death. Coomer and Wilson Memorial Bridge. Very tragic story. As far as what happened with that guy, I'm not sure. I'm sure he's still in prison, or I would hope so. But it's pretty tragic. I know this charger is a little messy for my 12-volt plug, but I didn't want to have to try to strap something on every time I rode. So I threw that on there. Alright, I'll show you another way to get down to this creek. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit of gravel. I've never showed it in a video, so I think y'all will like it. Something about climbing a hill on a bike is such a great feeling. It's where you can really feel the torque. I haven't been down this road that I'm about to take in a while. I'm hoping it's not too washed out. We'll see. I haven't taken this bike down this. It's kind of like blacktop chip and seal up here at the beginning. But my 250L had a lot treadier tires, and I had no problem in gravel. This thing's a little bit odd in gravel with these tires. So I'm just going to take my time, enjoy the view. my suggestion for riding pretty much anywhere is to carry a gun. You know, not to be political or anything like that, but the peace of mind of having a gun on you, a handgun, especially in places like this, you don't know what you're going to come across. You don't know. And that little bit of self-protection might save your life or somebody else's. It's a beautiful valley down in here. Old farmhouse. When I was a kid, I would love going in old farmhouses that were abandoned. This creek is pretty deep. I think this gets pretty muddy down in there. Yeah, it's probably pretty muddy, or I'd show you more of the creek. I'll show you the crossing up here. So this crossing up here, it goes right through the creek, and it is solid rock on the bottom. You know, like slate rock or limestone, I'm not sure, one or the other. But I tried to take my 250L across it, and bikes are so light that you lose traction very easily. Now, if it had been gravel bottom, I'd have crossed it no problem, but my back tire got sideways, you know, just barely dry, like, you know, low speed, just going across it, because it's about 2 feet, probably between 1 and 2 feet deep normally, and I laid over right in the middle of the creek and bent my gear shifter. Had to pound it back out with a rock to get home, and I was soaked. But yeah, I am not, unless the creek's bone dry or very low, I'll probably never take this bike through it. Now, when I say it's slick, you can't walk across it. It's slimy. I seen a guy take a side-by-side through it, and it slid him down a few feet just driving straight across it. It's not even the current, it is how slick the bottom is, being just one solid rock. Got a vine hanging down. I think there's some dogs up here. I'm pretty sure somebody lives there. Or they did, because there's always dogs there. They may be inside. As far as suspension, for the light off-roading I do on this thing, the stock suspension's fine. It's a little jerky, little pogo sticky, but I love the bike. Honestly, I think I made the best choice. I have buddies that have, you know, larger CC bikes, but the 500 has more than enough power for me. It'll run 80, 85 miles an hour easily without pushing it too hard. I think it tops out around 113. No, I don't need that much speed to enjoy riding, so, you know, pretty good low-end torque on this thing. It's beautiful through here. It's still green because all the evergreen trees. Beautiful. The CB500X has to be one of the most versatile bikes. It's lightweight, good torque. The gearing on this thing is really nice. You can putt around in first and almost come to a stop without stalling. I don't remember this house on the left. I know it looks old, but I don't remember it being here. Probably because I usually coming through here at a pretty high rate of speed. Beautiful place. You know, I'm all about living out away from people, but there are safety in numbers. You know, if you're too far out and you don't have no neighbors within yelling distance, you know, bad things could happen. You just never know. Yeah, here's the creek. I might get turned around and then I'll show you the bottom of it. The best way to get turned around. There we go. I think it'll stand there. So if you've watched my previous videos, there is a gravel road on out there. And I usually make a loop on the road and then come down that gravel. It's just right over there. Some of my videos show me crossing the bridge over there. But if you can see this, it's solid rock. It's not gravel or rock. It's one solid slab. And it is slick. You can see, let me see. It's slick. I mean, it's slicker than ice. It has that growth, that algae or something on there. It's a lot lower than it normally is, but I still wouldn't risk crossing it. I wouldn't even want to walk across it, even if I had boots on. Yeah, oh yeah, I got them in actually. The Shad E48s, they're a semi-rigid bag. This is the mounts for them. It's very sleek looking. They mount right onto the passenger pegs. You still get to use your pegs. They're awesome. I had them on, but I had to order, I can't even talk, the thermal shield that goes on the bottom of the bag because the exhaust is right here. I do need to get on some slip-on exhausts that just slip on over this and angle them down or out, and that would eliminate some of the heat. I'll give the thermal shield a try and see how it does on its own, but I'm not trying to melt $200 bags the first time I ride, so I haven't rode with them on until I get that thermal shield, which I think is worth waiting on. Let me make sure we're still recording. I would hope so. Yep, we're still recording. That does actually that. So I have the transition lens on my climb helmet. And when you have your shield up, the peak of the helmet will make the sunlight unevenly transition. This time of day it's not an issue, but later in the evening where there are some dark spots under the trees and stuff can be a real issue. So keep your shield down as much as you can. If you need it up, just take your helmet off. I have 1,572 miles on this bike. I'm getting an average of 70.7 miles per gallon, and I've been riding it pretty hard, going, above 70 on some areas. Well, for me, that's hard. One of my favorite things about riding is listening to music while I ride. And I got the Cardo Pack Talk Bold Black Edition. It has 45 millimeter JBL speakers, one on each ear. Sound quality is amazing. With the quality helmet, the helmet I had before this one, I still have it, but I don't use it. It was an O'Neill Sierra 2. Good helmet, a little bulky, and the wind noise and the whistling was really bad, like deafening if you didn't have ear protection in or earbuds. And the Climb Cryos I'm using now, it's way lighter, way smaller, and doesn't have all that wind noise or whistling that the Sierra 2 did. Very satisfied with this helmet. I might move up to the Climb Cryos Pro eventually, but for now, this helmet's fine for me. If I ever have the money to blow on one, I might move up. Anything that you do for a hobby or that you enjoy doing can be expensive. There's always better things to be had as far as gear, helmets, jackets, pants, boots. Then you got all the accessories, bags, guards, skid plates, aftermarket parts. This is a beautiful valley right here. Beautiful. Blue sky today. Just turned into a beautiful